talking about, this is Practitioners Forum 5, and we're talking about, it's all about, the theme is entrepreneurship and identification, prospecting. Basically, what we're looking at is a course that's been structured in a way that to enable participants to identify and pursue their interest in entrepreneurial ambitions, if they have some, if they don't, and also for those who don't have, basically, to provide building blocks for those who are interested in promoting, supporting, and working with entrepreneurs. Because sometimes the issue is that it's not everybody who, when you talk about entrepreneurship, it goes up. The whole idea is that, oh, yes, you're going to start your business, but sometimes you even need to understand how these people work for you to be able, in fact, work with them and then to be very good associates and other things with them. So that's basically what we're looking at. This is the second, it is the third session, actually. We've looked at some other topics, how to think like an entrepreneur. We're looking at how to start a small business. And I've actually called Dr. Yosin from the Gimpa Business School, and I want you to also introduce yourself as we see. Yeah, we can start with Grace, isn't it? Yes, sir.
Okay, hello. My name is Grace Pashi, and I'm a job loss expert coach. As a result of what I do, individuals, laid off employees, people who've lost their jobs, are able to overcome the fear of how to survive a job loss. They are also able to start an entrepreneurial journey, get the right skills and the right knowledge to start their own businesses. So I work with people who have lost their jobs, people who are still in jobs and they want to start their entrepreneurial journey. So basically, that's what I do. I'm also an author of this book that I wrote to inspire people who have lost their jobs. I kissed my job goodbye, how I went from joblessness to starting my own business. So basically, yeah.
That's what you do. All right. And Judith, yes.
Right. So my name is Judith Buete, and I basically run a company called Food Pharmacy. And just as it sounds, food, pharmacy, medicine, and food. So what we basically do is that we show people how to move away from lifestyle diseases like the diabetes, the high blood pressures, the high cholesterols, the stroke, and the likes. Now, the way that we do that is through a unique system of cooking where we show people how to maximize on the nutritional elements in their meals and also how to eliminate toxins and pollutions out of their diet. So basically, there's actually two things that I sell. So I sell the health, which is to our customers, and I'm also into people development. So I also sell the business opportunity to entrepreneurs. So that's basically what I do. So I'm in the wealth and the health business. Yeah.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. You happen to be one of my students as well.
Oh, okay. Wow. I love what you do.
Oh, I would love to talk to you more about it maybe after this call. That's good networking.
Okay. Now
you are talking to a networker expert.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've got to exchange numbers. That's very important.
So how did you get into, okay, let's start with Judith, and then we come to Grace, and then we move on into what. How did you get into your business? I mean, we're talking about how to start a business, but how do you, what's your experience? How did you get into your business?
Well, it's a very interesting story. So I was born in Ghana, but I was raised in the UK. So I spent pretty much most of my growing up years in the UK. And at some point, I lived a very careless lifestyle in terms of my health. So I was very slim. I would eat anything I want, pizzas, you name it. And I never used to put on weight. So at a point, I actually got very sick. So the doctors diagnosed me with this crazy hypothyroidism, I think it was at the time. And they say a healthy person has just, sorry, a sick person has just one wish. A healthy person has many wishes, but a sick person has one. And I went through that. So I called this company, they're called Salad Master, and they came, did a presentation for me. And I think within a short space of time, I basically got my health back. So I realized that, you know, your health really, God has given us food, which we really need to put through the right system in order to benefit from it. So how I decided to set up this organization was that I had gone through a really bad patch in my life, and I had seen the health aspect of this business, which is what helped me. So I knew the product was a fantastic product. It worked. However, the business opportunity was a new thing to me. I was invited into an opportunity meeting to see how the business runs, and I just saw the big picture, and I decided to jump on it. But I think for me, I was at a crossroad where financially I was in a very, very bad place. Emotionally, I was also in a very, very bad place. I was running around trying to hustle and make money, and I was basically running after copper when I had gold and diamonds tucked under my bed. So I just quickly run with it, and I decided to develop myself and allow myself to become a business person. So I don't know if I've explained it any better, but that's basically why I started this organization, because I believed in the product and it worked so much for me. I thought, hey, this will grow, it will fly in Ghana. And so I came to Ghana. It was a new environment for me. Even though I was born here, it was a very new environment. I wasn't very familiar with some of the systems here. I remember first time I arrived in Ghana, I used to see people selling dog chains, and I was overwhelmed. I couldn't understand why people stood outside and sold dog chains. But the point is, I made that decision, you know, when I saw the opportunity, and run with it. And I've been here for about nearly 10 years, and it has really been a tremendous experience for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that we will go into the details of how you go about what we do. Let's listen to Grace, and then we can move into the details.
You know, whilst I was listening to Judith, I was just smiling to myself. I was asking how, Mr. Yossin, how were you able to bring two people from a network marketing background? Now, Judith, listen. So for me, how did I started my business? It was August 2016, and I received a phone call from my head of department. I've been in the banking industry for almost 8 years, you know, enjoying the jolly ride in the bank and all that. And that call I received on the August 31st, 2016 was supposed to be the end of my career in the banking industry. I was called into a meeting, not an ordinary meeting, but a meeting that I was told that the bank would not be able to employ me anymore. And so I just lost my banking career. That was August 2016. So when I was driving home that day, it was a very long and dark moment for me, with a lot of questions on my mind. What am I going to do next? And I just got married 1.5 years. We started a project. There's so many bills on me that we had to pay. I was asking myself, what am I going to do next? So when I came home, I used 1 month to cry, to heal, and all those things. And then I just woke up for myself, and I told myself that, girl, if you don't stop crying, you are going to die in hunger. So you have to get up and go and do something for yourself. So I decided to look at what I love to do, what I'm good at. And one of the things that came to mind, first of all, I told myself that this is the end of the road of my career. No more going to look for a job again. I had other offers from other banks and all that. Unfortunately, the following year, they also collapsed and all that. I said, no, I'm just going to start my own business. So I went into baking as a way of, I want to make an income But along the line, I could not really focus or build that particular business. And then, out of the blue, Judith, listen to this. Someone introduced me to network marketing.
Wow.
Someone introduced me to a wonderful company based in China called Long Ridge Bioscience. I had not done anything about network marketing. I don't know anything about network marketing, but I was determined to develop myself, to learn, and to earn that box of money that I need to support my husband to take care of the family. So on the 9th of November 2016, I enrolled on the network marketing platform and I started building. And as Judy said, the product was also good, very good, helped my health. I was so much high on cholesterol and I lost some weight and all that. And so I decided to also educate people about the health benefits and also develop them on the business aspect of it. Because for someone who lost her job, after 6 months, I was able to earn my salary from network marketing. And then within a year, just a year of losing my job, I earned over $20,000 in network marketing.
Wow.
Hey, I was just telling everyone, look, this can work for you. And so when I started sharing my story, when I was talking to people, presentation and all that about how I lost my job, I got this business, I'm building it, and this is what has happened to me. People began to feel interested. They started asking me, and then I started attracting people who have lost their jobs 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but they've not done anything. They are just looking for jobs. And so I sat down and I asked myself, how did I get here? So I decided to put together a company, which is Prime World with Consult. And that's what I said earlier on, that as a result of what we do, we help people gain clarity, validate their ideas, step out, get the right entrepreneurial skills to start their business, and also help them to monetize their skills and their experience. Because one of the main reasons, passion that I had to start this business was that why are people sitting down while they can start something on their own? Why should somebody look for a job 100 times, 50 times, 10 times, whilst you have skills, you have knowledge, the same thing that you used to do for your employer, you can package it and sell it and earn income on it. And as Judy said, you have gold. You said something gold, and you are chasing copper and all those things.
Exactly.
I began to teach people how they can maximize their skills, their experience after they've lost their jobs. And that's how I started my business, Mr. Yosin. That is how I started my business. That's how I started my coaching business. So I started training people. And also, when I started getting media attention, radio on TV and all that, then people who have not lost their jobs started coming to me. Say, look, I'm in this job, but I'm not happy. I want to start my own business. How can you help me? And I said, well, this is it. Let me just focus, build, and help people know that, look, losing your job is not the end of your life. You can start something and build it. And so when I got the invitation, how to build a small business, I was so happy because this is my field. This is my baby. I love to teach people to do that. So that's how I started my business.
Thank you.
And just to add to what Grace just said, I always tell people I've worked in different industries. I have many years of experience in retail, and since I grew up in the UK, I remember my first ever job was McDonald's. I used to work at McDonald's. I used to work at McDonald's. I used to sell pizza. I used to sell double glazing windows. But I always tell people, why don't you? If basically you were employed, I have employees, okay, and I always tell them, I said, listen, you work for me. I pay you at the end of every month. But here's the reality. I am borrowing your skills and your brains to make my millions, okay? Mm-hmm. However, we do also have an opportunity here, which allows you to train and develop yourself through these skills to become your own entrepreneur. And the salary that you receive dictates how you live your life. So why don't you make a decision, okay, this is the life that I want to live, and let that lifestyle dictate what role, what job, or what opportunity you should chase. I know I want to live a luxury life, and therefore paying me 6,000 Ghana cedis is definitely not enough. And that is pretty high salary, I would say. So receiving 2,000 cedis, 3,000 cedis, it just limits you to a certain lifestyle. So whatever you receive at the end of the month as a salary, that is what is going to dictate where you fix your hair, what barber you go to, what school your kids attend. So really entrepreneurship that's really what it is. That's what it's about now, because you then have the opportunity to grow and develop and just take over, the world, take over whatever it is that you wish to aspire to be. And it's all making a decision. Now, I sit here as an entrepreneur, and I promise you, I was not born an entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, my mother is a Makola woman. My mother is Mokola Bege. I remember at home, she would come with big Ghana must go bags, those days, big bags of money. And I always look at it, and I was never attracted to that. I just want to be safe. At the end of the day, I have a job. I get paid at the end of every month. I take a salary. I know, say every month I am getting a salary. Whereas an entrepreneur is somebody who we take risk. I don't know how much my business is going to earn this month, but I have projections, I have goals, and these goals are broken down. So I know that I need to do A, B, C, D to achieve these goals. And as an entrepreneur, you are forced to work hard, and that hard work definitely pays. So salary workers, your salary dictates how you live your life. But entrepreneurs, we dream of a lifestyle, and that lifestyle influences us to chase after our goal.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Now, I think we moved into the second part of the second question.
Yeah.
The conditions that require you to start a business, and that's all. So, Grace, you can take it over from there. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things, whilst I was looking through the questions, one of the things that I think is really important is you should be able to identify a problem that you have a solution for. And if you are listening to Judith, you will listen to me, you could see that we all saw a problem that we thought that, no, this thing is a solution for the problems that we have seen. So we want to help people out of health issues. I want to help people recover from a job loss and all that. So the first condition, you have to identify a problem that you want to solve. Now, this problem could be that you have a survivor story and you see somebody who is struggling, you want to help them overcome it. This story could be that you were able to overcome a disease, and you see somebody who is struggling, you want to help them. This problem could be you have a product that you can provide for somebody. It can transform somebody's life, or it can make their work processes or whatever they are doing very easy. So those are one of the things. And the other thing too is that maybe you've seen an already existing business, but you want to create something to add value to it. Now, value here is key. In everything that you do as an entrepreneur, whatever we are doing, we are bringing value. The value that will make people comfortable, the value that will make people live a long life, live good, the value that will make people earn money, even whilst they are at home, And also, you want to, sometimes when people want to earn extra cash, like what Judith was saying, the lifestyle, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? If you are earning a salary, there's a certain lifestyle you will need. Then you have to be thinking of starting something aside of your job or whatever you are doing. So basically, these are the three things I would say. I don't know if I was able to number them very well. So number one, identify a problem that you think that you have a solution for and you want to solve. Number two, also look for a system that you can add value and improve that particular process. And also, if you want to earn extra cash or you want to gain some extra money or live a certain lifestyle, then you start thinking of starting something apart from your job.
Okay, good. Yes, Grace, you've been dealing with, you have, I just put the third question there. I mean, you've been dealing with trainees and colleagues and the trainees and other things. So can you share some of the experiences, I mean, conditions of people who have come through you that you help them to solve a certain problem, that have set up something based on that? Some of the
So normally, currently, what I deal with a lot is people with the COVID and the pandemic, whatever we are going through. A lot of people have lost their jobs. So a lot of people are home now, and you cannot even get a job. So what are you going to do? So when they come to me, the problems are, okay, I've lost my job. I want to start something on my own. So most of the time, I look at their skills, I look at their expertise, their experience, and also we try and make it in a form of a solution that can look for a problem out there and solve for them. And so the major problem is that people have lost their jobs and they are home now, and they want to earn an income. Another job. So you definitely need to get an income. So with those, when they get the understanding of how they can monetize, let me use the word monetize, they can monetize their skills, their expertise, and their experience, put systems around it, and make it in such a way that people can put money into their hands for them to earn again. So these are some of the issues that we deal with. And also, when it comes to starting a business, most people are afraid. When the people hear the word entrepreneurship, their hearts start beating. It's like, oh my God, I cannot be an entrepreneur. So when I was writing my book, I decided to dedicate a whole chapter. I said that everyone is an entrepreneur. And every day I prove it to my clients. And sometimes when I tell them, they just open their mouth and say, I didn't know I can do this. I said, yes, everyone. That is a gift God gives us in the Garden of Eden. He said, be fruitful and multiply. Everyone can become an entrepreneur. There is creation in you. So when people come to me, I try to break that mindset that I cannot become an entrepreneur. I cannot do this. I try to break that mindset by opening up their minds into things that they have, into things. You see, sometimes even somebody, the way they even smile, their looks, they can turn it into a business. The way they talk. I have never done anything network marketing. When I was working in the bank, I was an administrative assistant. But when I lost my job and I started network marketing, anytime I talk to people, they are like, oh my God. When you are talking to me, you just open my eyes to see possibilities. And so I decided to develop that skill, to learn how to communicate with people, show them a picture of possibility and let them know that, look, this thing is possible. So when they come to me, I let them know that, look, entrepreneurship is for everyone, especially when it's a small business that you want to start. You can start from your home. You can start from your experience. Listen to the story of Judith. She started from her personal experience. Now she has a multi-billion business that she's building. I also started from my personal story. So everyone can become an entrepreneur. There is no excuse for anyone. It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is what I'm going to say, all right? I always say that in life, you've gotta have a vision and you have to have a goal, okay? For me, like I said, I came from a really bad place, okay? And permit me to do this because I know in Ghana, some people find it a little bit, there's this stereotype thing going on. I was married in the UK and I got divorced, and you can imagine that's what brought me back home to Ghana. So for me, I didn't have a choice. Even though I'm British, I've got to, I'm okay. I can go back to the UK, stay there, live, my lifetime, be on benefit and all those things. But for me, I remember when I saw this opportunity, which is the franchise that I run in Ghana now, which is it's about identifying the right people to associate yourself with, okay? So when you do associate yourself with the right people, all right, and they can then also put you in the right environment. So for me, I allowed myself to experience this opportunity that I have now, which is what I share with other young people and other entrepreneurs. If you don't allow yourself to witness other opportunities, then you are limiting yourself and not giving yourself the opportunity, if that makes sense. So for me, when I exited, one of the things exited my marriage, one of the things I was told was that I am going to fail in life because I was so dependent on my ex-partner. And so just the thought of being by myself and looking after myself was not a reality. It's like, listen, you're going to fail. I've got two beautiful children, two beautiful girls, you know, and
Wow.
for me, that rang in my head, which was, you're going to fail. So now, doctor, here is my reality. All the opportunity that was given to me, I had to find my why factor, okay? And I'll break it down and explain what I mean. I had to find my why factor. What reason do I have every morning to go out and work? What is my reason? If your reason isn't big enough, you will not succeed as an entrepreneur. Because the reality is that you will be faced with so many challenges, but your reason is what will keep pushing you, even though it's tough, even though you will get to dead ends, even though you will be challenged with human resources and people and so on and so forth. So I had to find 3 reasons. And the first reason was that word I was told. So listen, if you have haters out there, if you have negative people, you need those negative people. Because those negative people, you need to hear those bad words, because that's what made me strong. Because every time I was running this business and I realized I was struggling, I would always remember the words, you are going to fail. You're going to be nothing without me. And that kept pushing me. That was my first why factor. Is that why reason big enough? Absolutely. My second why factor was the fact that I felt like I was a failure, which was I was well brought up by a very God-fearing man. He's a, Church of Pentecost elder. You can imagine your daughter has gone and your daughter is divorced and she's come back home with 2 children and so I had become a burden on my parents. So I felt so bad for my dad, and I said, look, I need to make this man proud. Is that a big enough reason to chase my dream and to chase the goal? Absolutely. And the third biggest why factor is my children. I know the life I had. I went to a private school in the UK. So as parents, we always want our children to get, to do better than what we did. So like my bar is like this high. So look at my children and they keep me going. So to be an entrepreneur, you've got to have a why factor. What is your why factor? Why do you want this? Why do you want to achieve this goal? What is your purpose? And if your why factor is big enough, I promise you, coming from another successful businesswoman, I like to think I'm successful, because I have achieved many goals. I still have many other goals to achieve, but you've got to find that why factor. And another thing you've got to be careful with is, who are you taking advice from? You see, when I'm sick, I go and see the doctor, not a plumber. When my car is not well, I go and look for a mechanic and not an astronaut. So you've got to be careful the people that you are associating yourself with and whom you're taking advice from. Because the reality is, if you're going to speak to your unemployed friends about business and about work, then what you're going to be is, there's no work and Ghana is. Let me tell you something, guys. The power of the brain is such a powerful tool, and you become what you believe. If you believe that you're never going to succeed, that's what you become. Because my dad, who is a very successful management consultant, was born into poverty. My father first wore slippers when he was 16 years old, apparently. I don't know how true that story is. That's what they told me. But the reality is that as much as he was born in a poor family, what changed? It was his mindset. And he worked his way and allowed himself to be developed to become the successful management consultant that he is today. So it's also in your mind. What do you believe you are? Because you become what you believe. A lot of the times we tell people, I can't do this. Oh, this is so hard. Look, we've been in a pandemic. Just because we're in a pandemic does not mean our business must go back. I get it. But this pandemic, my business, we have to be face to face with customers. That is how we sell our product. But I tell you, doctor, that last year, 2020, we were 26% over last year in business. So what changed? It was my mindset. Of course, the first week I was panicking. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And it's permitted. You can go through all those emotions. You panic, but you need to snap out of it. And so I thought about, okay, so what do I do? We then had to think about how do you get a system that would work? And that is innovation. So we had to be innovative to now find ways to make it work. So the long and short of what I'm saying is it's in the head, the power of the mind, okay? And what you believe. You've got to have a belief system. Without a belief system, believe me, it's entrepreneurship, you're just, you've got to believe it. Believe you're an entrepreneur, believe it, and you become that.
Good. That leads us directly to the next question that I want you to look at. That is about, we talk about entrepreneurship in just for owning business. What does it mean to have a business in Ghana? Okay, looking at the issue, the main thing that I want you to look at, the work culture, and then the expectations of the people. What would it? Grace, would you like to take that, or Grace? Yeah. What does it?
Yeah.
The business in Ghana, with everything. Yes, and then the work culture, the thing that people respond to what you. Yeah.
Yeah, when Judith was talking, she made mention of becoming an entrepreneur is in your mind, and also I will add one thing to it, as you believing in yourself and what you have. Now, doing business in Ghana and even in the world, for me, I don't only operate in Ghana, I also operate in the world, and I'm very sure Judith also is on a global platform.
Sure.
One of my coach said something, and the statement was like, business is war. So you are definitely going to face a lot of challenges and a lot of issues. When it even comes to culture, the way people respond to businesses, the way people respond to, there is no sense of urgency, the way people do their things and all that. And also, even when you start something, you are going to face rejection. So out there as an entrepreneur, you encounter rejection. People, when you bring a product or a service out, people will look at you in some way and all that. And the other aspect, rejection from unknown and rejection from the known. Fighting, I call it a roller coaster environment. So you will jump in and come down. You will face with challenges, and also the governmental roadblocks of facing registries and bringing out a product and going here, bureaucracy and all those things. So there are lots of issues out there when it comes to the culture in Ghana and even in the world. And now, especially with COVID, so many business strategies have changed. So many things have changed. I teach people more to digitalize everything they are doing. Maximize social media with your businesses. You heard Judy talking about system innovation, because if you don't do it that way, you are not going to survive in the industry. So this is how the culture, the experience, you face the rejection, the up and down and all that. But nevertheless, if you know your why, as Judy said, if you believe in yourself and you believe in what product or services that this thing will help somebody, this thing will transform somebody's life, then I'm telling you that you will definitely survive in the world of entrepreneur. And it is a beautiful, it is a sweet, it is a very rewarding lifestyle. I don't want to get out of here. And I want, as much as I am alive, I want to teach a lot of people how they can also get in here and transform their lives and transform. So that is it with the culture and all that. Now, when it comes to expectation, I would say that always communicate what you want to the people that you are working with, to your clients, to your customers, and all that. When you are coming out with a product, when you are starting a business, make sure that whatever you are coming out with, you know who you are going to sell to, who will need what you have. I'm coming out with a product for children. Who will need that product? Now, you should know that children will not be able to pay you. So you are going to be dealing with the parents. So you have to communicate your expectation outward, and your expectations within yourself, and even with your staff too as well. When you're able to balance and do all these things, I believe so well that even though you face challenges along the way, you'll be able to sail through as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, get it.
Well, well, yeah.
The shock, the shock, the culture shock. You know, that's the.
Listen. Let me tell you something, right? Everyone can achieve whatever it is that they want to achieve. If you want to, you will achieve it. I was not born an entrepreneur. I can tell you that. Like I said, I like to be safe. I like to be safe, but like I said, there was a circumstance in my life that changed me in order to pursue this new lifestyle and this new career that I am into now. For me, there was a lot of cultural shock. I came from an environment where there was a system that worked 9 to 5. If you don't wake up at a certain time, you miss your bus, okay? And if you miss your bus, you have to stand another 30 minutes in the cold, okay? And when you get to work, you get into trouble. Now, I've been in Ghana. I have staff, you know. I have a team of about 70 people. And you can imagine, you tell people to come into work at a certain time. And I remember when I started running the organization, I was firing people left and right because they're 10 minutes late, and I will write a letter and warn you 2, 3, 4 times. I'm like, listen, you're out, you know. And of course, like I said, my dad is a management consultant. He realized that my staff turnover was a bit ridiculous. He came in, he said, Judith, things don't work like that, you know. So like I said, you've got to have the right people around you to really help you grow as a business. I mean, it's been a tough experience for me because I've had to learn the tough way. When you have a certain mindset and you're coming into a certain environment with a different mindset, there's a bit of a collision. But like I said, it's a decision that you make. What are you looking for? You know, so at a point in time, I had to have a whole business culture. Okay, so what does food pharmacy represent as an organization? What are our core values? You know, we're about family. We're about integrity. We're about innovation. So we employ on those core values. So if you're an entrepreneur, you need to have that core value. What are your core values? What do you want to represent? And once you have those core values, you basically hire and fire on those core values. And that allows you to get the dream team that helps you to achieve your goal. What I love about my organization is, you know, as much as I have my staff, the reality is that we also have an opportunity. So I don't believe in employment. Because like I said, I have been employed at various jobs and stuff. And when I have my management meetings, I'm looking at my staff and I say, listen, I am borrowing your brains to make my millions. How do you feel about that? And they're looking at me and going, "Yeah, madam, that's not fair." I said, "Well, I have an opportunity here for you to become an entrepreneur, but make sure before you leave your role, you find somebody to replace in that role, okay? So you become an entrepreneur, all right?" So it is definitely something that I think as individuals, if we embrace that system, if we embrace entrepreneurship, it would definitely make our lives better, and we would live a much better life. And it's giving back to society as well. So I tell my team their success is my success, because when they're successful, I am successful. You know, so yeah, that's what I can add to what Grace said.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I said this earlier on. The next, let me share the next question we're looking at. I think that's, yeah. Yes. What is the burden? As you say, yeah, you meet your people, you talk to them. What is the burden of responsibility as an entrepreneur? What personally, yes. My personal experience in industry, in management, was the early shock of my life. Was I was summoned to a meeting, the board, and I was told to trim down my stuff, to downsize my stuff. And the issue was, the burden is, who do you let go, and how do you do that? I mean, sometimes you are nice with them. People have been fathers, mothers. They've been working for some years with you. They are your friends. But when it comes to business and management is not always. It's not like sweet. Everything gets lovely part. It comes to a point where hard decisions have to be taken.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people have to guess. Those are some of the things. So what is the burden of entrepreneurship? It's not, that we have to let people know that it's not everything that you are in your Range Rover for and that sort of thing. Yes, there are times where you have to take hard decisions to make the business succeed. That is it. So that's what I'm yes. What are some of those experiences that I want us to share with?
I think for me, one of the biggest burden is I understand what unemployment is, and I understand what poverty is, because I have been there. I also understand wealth because I have been there. So when I see, or like, doctor, like you said, if I have to let people go because of inability to perform, it is a very, very difficult conversation. Very, very difficult. As a matter of fact, recently I had to let my customer services manager go, just for the pure reason of, there was some fishy business happening in the office which came to light, and unfortunately she had to go. And just having that conversation with her, just to say, hey, look, even though she was in the wrong, it's still, I'm human and I'm a woman. And I had also received some information that she was struggling with her rent and she had some personal issues. And so for me, it was a tough decision. But you see, in business, I understand that you've got to be able to set aside your emotions, because emotions will get you into trouble. Okay? So if I had to base my decision on my emotions, I would kind of have to overlook the incident that happened that would have set a wrong precedent in my organization and say, oh, as for Madame, yeah, you can do anything and get away with it. However, I had to put my emotions aside and look at the business and how that will affect the business. And I had to make that have that uncomfortable conversation. So for me, I think that that burden of having to let people go when they're not performing, for me, it's not a very comfortable thing to do. But you've got to do what you have to do. There are ways to go about it. Of course, I have two sets of people. I have employees, people I pay on a retainer, people who are on a retainer, and then I have my team people who go out to sell, and they are the entrepreneurs. They are the ones who take the risk. They don't want employment. They want to earn money. I remember there was a girl here who she had no experience. I mean, she didn't have any higher education or anything. And look, she took 50,000 Ghana cedis last month. I mean, that's mind blowing. So a person like that takes money and just disappears for some time because they've never seen such money before. They've gone away and they're thinking, oh my goodness, I have all this money, and they're overwhelmed by it. But you want that person to see the big picture. The reality is that 50,000 Ghana cedis will run out. So when it runs out, what do? You come back and you have to start from scratch. So sometimes it's very difficult to get people to see that opportunity, and that becomes the burden on the entrepreneur. It's yeah. So that's one of the things that for me, I think it's a big burden. But you just got to overcome that. You just have to overcome that.
Yes, Grace. What's your experience in that area?
I think to add to what Judy said with burden of laying people off and all that. Now, for me, I would look at it from the burden of having the right paying clients or getting the right customers for your product. And most of the time, one of the reasons why people are afraid to step into this kind of venture is they're afraid that, okay, will people even buy what I'm selling? Would there be a need for people to get what I want? And so they kind of think, how am I going to run this business? Will somebody buy what I want and all that? So one of the burden that we face for me with the environment I work in is how to get the right paying clients for whatever you are offering. Okay, so that's the people, the people aspect of it, how to get the right people to buy your product, to buy your services and all that. And you see, one thing I tell people is that customers, they are like chameleons. They change every now. We are all customers in some way. Our taste change, our preference change and all that. So when you are an entrepreneur, one of the things you should be able to fight very well is to how you can satisfy your clients, how you can make them happy, and how you can make them stick to you. And I see sometimes people struggling with it and having issues. Okay, I cannot get somebody to buy what I'm doing or to pay for what I am doing. To go venture, make sure that you have the right product, that when you bring it to the market, people are ready to put money into your hands. And I believe so well that wouldn't be an issue for you to struggle in your journey. Okay, so I think that's what I would say when it comes to that aspect of it.
Okay, I think that yes, we'll be running. Yes, let me share this and then we move on. Okay, the burden of. We look at challenges with that. Now I'll be talking to one or two people later, and this course and the other course. But what are your challenges? What are the things that you face challenges in starting up a business? Is it the bureaucracy? What about the agencies? What are some of the issues that they don't do anything, they just come for the money? Yes. So, yes, great. Yeah, Grace, you can continue for the challenge.
Okay, for me, when I started my business, the first thing I faced was rejection. Rejection, and I came from the banking industry and losing my job before people realized I was on the street selling my network marketing products, and I remember somebody calling me and said that, why are you disgracing yourself, and also, we know your husband as this and all that. So why don't you go and look for another job? So the first thing you face is rejection. It will take some time before people will accept you, before people will accept your product. And most of the time, when people are not able to face the rejection, that is where they pack their bags and whatever and go back and say, this is not for me and I'm not going to do it. Now, the other challenges you are going to face you are also going to, and that one I put in bracket that it depends on the business that you are doing. Because I tell people that it's not every business that you need capital to start. And I have a very proven and practical thing. I've showed people how to start a business without money. So it's not depending on what you want to do. One of the challenges you face is raising capital. And again, when people don't believe in you, when people don't believe in what you have, nobody will be ready to invest in what you have. So normally it is very good that when you want to start a business, start it small. Don't start big and think that you need 100 billion or whatever. If it's even 100 Ghana cedis, if it's 100 or 50 Ghana cedis, there is a business you can start with 100 or 50 Ghana cedis. Start it. So I think these are some of the things: raising capital, the rejection, the roadblocks in terms of government, FDA registration, and all those. You go here, they will tell you no. You come here and they will tell you no, and all that. And sometimes one person will just put themselves just to frustrate you. It's all part of the process. But challenges are meant to be overcome. And even when you overcome one challenge, it gives you another jacket to face the second one. And you move on in your life as an entrepreneur. In fact, do the challenges is one of our friends. Challenges makes us who we are today, and we are not afraid of it. When you build the models for it, every challenge that comes, you easily cross it.
Right. I mean, that's very true. I mean, look, the challenges for me is fear. Okay, a lot of people are afraid, and I think fear, we say it's false evidence appearing real. Like, that's one of the biggest challenges I find that I deal with as an entrepreneur. And of course, Grace, just as you said, rejection. Rejection is part of life. Rejection is part of life. So you just got to learn how to. I always say I have an invincible rejection pill. You take it. The customer says no. You swallow the pill.
I love that.
Yeah, that's it. So if all of you will just have an imaginary rejection pill, and every time you get rejection, you just take that rejection pill. Look, let me show you. It's very easy. And you move on. Okay. So one of the things when I saw the food pharmacy opportunity that I was given in the UK, I saw the opportunity and I thought, wow, this is massive. Now, I also understood that as much as the opportunity was amazing and I was hearing all this big amounts of money and all that, I knew some work had to go into it. Okay, so one of the challenges as an entrepreneur, starting a small business, whatever business it is, you've got to change your mindset. I'm going to come back to that. It's in the mind. You've got to make a decision. What do you want? And once you make up that mind, you can then achieve what it is that you want to achieve. One of the things I'm so bad at is actually exercising. I don't exercise. I hate exercising. Like I said, I had a very good metabolism, so I can eat as much as I want, and I will not put on any kind of weight. Okay? And so when I saw the Salad Master or the food pharmacy opportunity, I then thought to myself, okay, what is the one thing I really hate to do? What is the one thing I hate to do? Which is exercising. So Grace, you know what I did? I tasked myself and I said, for 28 days, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to run. You know when you see people running, yeah? I said, I'm going to run for 28 days every morning. And if I'm able to achieve this, it means I can chase this opportunity or I can start up this business and I can do this. So guess what? I remember one Monday night, I took my clothes out, my jogging suit, I put it on my bed so that when I wake up in the morning, I don't have to do anything. I don't even want to brush my teeth. I don't even want to wash my face. I would just jump into my clothes and just run because I don't want to be distracted. So I remember I went into my training tracksuit with my trainers and everything. And then I stepped out of my house and I started running. Listen, I only run, I'm sure I can count the steps that I took, maybe about 20 steps. And this doctor, I had stitches. I was like, oh my gosh, how do people run? I haven't even done, not even 100 meters. And I have stitches in my stomach. And I was like, Lord, I said, I can't do this. But you know what? I have a friend, Carl Richards, bless him. Carl runs every morning about 2 miles or so. So I picked up my phone and I called him. I said, hey, Carl, listen, I started running today, but I couldn't even run 100 meters. And I was struggling. What's that about? He says, Judith, you're such a fool. You don't run on the first day. You're supposed to walk. You got a brisk walk. You're such an idiot. Just brisk walk. Who runs on the first try? I said, oh, okay. Well, calm down. I didn't know that. So here is the thing. You need to take advice from people who are qualified. And not everybody who advises you is qualified. So he now told me and taught me the steps to take in order to run. And guess what, doctor? I achieved it beautifully. I did lose a lot of weight. I didn't want to lose weight. That wasn't my goal. My goal was to set myself on this impossible task for me, and I was able to achieve that. So it's in the mind and having the right people around you. When you become an entrepreneur, your friends might need to change. You need to associate yourself with the right kind of people who will inspire you and who will motivate you to greatness. You know, so that's that. I hope I have touched on that, on that question. I hope I've touched on that.
Yes. All right. So yes, I think we are running out of time, but we are doing well on time. So what are some of you just moved into the second question. What are some of the support systems you require to succeed? What are over here? I mean, the support systems you require to succeed in that. You've talked about family. You've talked about like this example, knowing the right people to help you. What else? What else can you add to it? Great. Okay.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I think Judith has touched on some few of them, and one of the things I would say that the first support system is yourself as an entrepreneur. You are your first support system. And so, as he said, you have to have that right mindset that this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. When I decided to start my entrepreneurial journey, nobody told me. I didn't tell anybody. I just knew within me that this is what I want to do and this is the road I want to take. So your first support system is yourself. Surround yourself with things that inspire you. Surround yourself with your dreams. Surround yourself with where you want your business to be in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time. Surround yourself with your positive affirmations. Surround yourself with the thought of how much you even want to earn or how much you even want to make in your business. So you are your first support. Then we can go from there to getting advice from the right people and also personal development. As an entrepreneur, you are a creator. You are always creating something. If you should know something before it comes. You are the one who are showing people the future, what is going to look like. So you should always put yourself up there. Personal development. Every entrepreneur, whoever you are, you need to get somebody that you are taking information or you are taking something from up there. You need to learn from people. Okay, then the last support system, I believe, your family and your friends. I do this that sometimes you lose some of your friends. I have left a lot of people behind because they are not ready to go with me. So I look for people who are ready or who I can go with. And I have over 4 or 5 coaches that I pay them to teach me what I'm doing. So you need yourself, you need people above you, you need your friends, and then finally, you need your family. Because when everything is said and done, you will come home to your children, you come home to your siblings, and you come home to your husband. So I think these are some of the 4 things I'll just lay down with when it comes to support system.
Yeah. I agree with that, definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So what advice would you like to leave with students studying business courses at a business school? What advice?
Throw yourself in the deep end, darling. Throw yourself in the deep end. Take a risk. Don't go and study business and go and support somebody else's business. Develop your own business. I know people at GIMP are usually professional people. They're people who have some experience. You know, I'm not speaking to maybe somebody who has just come out of secondary school and has jumped into entrepreneur. Of course, that is there too. But I think that building that experience in an environment, working with people and gradually growing, but eventually just throw yourself in the deep end. I would just advise everyone who can hear me, and I say to them, like, I'm a living testimony of that. I'm a living proof. I am social proof that entrepreneurship works. And just find the right business, find the right opportunity, and grasp to that, plug into that. If you don't know any, contact me. I will teach you how to do that, because I have gone through those systems and structures, and I have developed very, very successful entrepreneurs who are very happy with their lives, and they are also in turn changing other people's lives. Entrepreneurship is all the way. It's not easy. Now, I don't want to make it sound like it's a smooth road. It's not. But here is the reality. You need to find where you are in life. Go into your bank account and check your balance. Okay? Sometimes it's uncomfortable. I have been there. Okay? When you check your balance and you look at your life, you know where you are at. Then you've got to make a decision. Where do you want to go? You see, a lot of the time, people don't know where they want to go. I remember having a one-to-one with one of my girls, and I asked her, how much money do you want to earn? She says, I want to earn enough. So I said to her, okay, is 500 Ghana cedis enough? She looked at me and chuckled. Oh, madam, no. And I said, well, you said enough. So what is enough? You have to make your goals specific. But finding where you are is kind of like using the GPS. You know, if I want to go to Damsuma, right? I'm currently in Tema. I will take my Google map and I'll put Damsuma, Akupo photo. Now the Google map will do one thing first. The Google map will calculate where I currently am at now. So you need to find out, where are you now? Be true to yourself. Where are you? And then the Google map will give me some options in terms of the direction I'm going. So as I'm driving down to Dansuman, I may get lost along the way. I will fall in potholes. I will get lost. I will probably, I'll probably take a wrong turn. But you know what the GPS does? It recalculates your location again. And eventually it will take you to Dansuman. It might take you maybe a little longer. You might be a bit late. But the reality is, because I put in that GPS that I'm going to Dansuman, it will take me to Dansuman. So you, as a young person or somebody who is thinking about entrepreneurship, be true to yourself and do not allow your past or do not allow your background to affect you now. Your parents not being able to provide for you is no excuse, because there are many people who are from very poor backgrounds who are multimillionaires today. There is no difference between you and I. The only difference, I'm not better than you, Grace is not better than you, Doctor is not better than you. I am just doing something that you are not doing what I'm doing. That's all it is. So I'm not better than you, you're just not doing what I am doing. All right. So for me, that's my advice. A brain surgeon once upon a time did not know anything about brains, didn't know anything about the brain. They had to study very hard to understand what that is. So that is my piece of advice for entrepreneurs.
Great.
Okay, so I think I'm supposed that we are talking to people who wants to. We should encourage people who wants to venture into entrepreneurship. So I would say that Judy talk about know where you are. I would say that know what you want. What do you want out of your life? You know, when I lost my job and I came back home, there was one thing I told myself, that would be a victim of a job loss. I want people to lose their jobs and they are happy that they've seen someone who's lost their job and their life has turned around 100 degrees. You know, so what do you want out of your life? Do you want the normal wake up in the morning, rush to work, come back home, sleep, wake up in, what kind of lifestyle do you want? Do you want the lifestyle of you have access, you have open doors, you have money in your hands, and you want to do what you can? Do you want a lifestyle that people will look to you and say that if not for you, I think I would have killed myself? Because I had people calling me and said, look, I just watched you, I just read your book, I was about to take my life. And I'm like, what? Because you lost a job? So what do you want in your life, and what do you want people to also gain from the life or whatever you are giving out? If you are able to answer that question, please follow your heart and go for it. Whenever there is a desire, God has a way of giving you the grace to achieve that thing that you want to do. Like what Judy was saying, there was a desire for that challenge and she was able to do it. As soon as you answer this question, ask, when you get your answer, follow your heart and follow your desires. And I'm telling you that you will make it. Well, we are not saying that it's going to be difficult. We are not superheroes. If you give us time, we will talk out all our challenges that we went through to come here. Okay, so when you face that roadblock, you can also overcome it and you will get there. You will get there.
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
For your insight into some of the things that you've looked at. And I'm happy because this is actually some of the things that I've been thinking about in my life that I want to do, like telling people about things. It's not giving just the concepts in the textbooks, which you can always get into.
And thank you so much for doing that. Yeah, thank you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for doing that. Because brilliant. Most of the time, people come out of school and they just the book theory that is in their mind, and also they don't see people who have really gone through those up and down and all that. So thank you so much for doing this for your students. And I'm sure they'll be very grateful.
And Doctor, let me just add this. You know, I have a big smile on my face, and my smile is just the fact that I'm seeing two powerful women who are entrepreneurs. And that should tell women, and not to discriminate, of course, we always know that women are the weaker vessel and the men are, you know, we look up to you and we respect you, but, you know, women, we have it in us to be powerful. And I'm so proud that, Grace, you're sharing such an amazing story. And, you know, I've got my story as well, and we've come from quite a bad situation to become a successful one, and we're sharing that with people to also jump on that. So I have a smile on my face, And I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be a woman. Power to the women.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I also have the same feelings for you, Judith. You're doing so well, so well.
Yeah.
Keep up the good way.
Yeah.
Keep up the
Yeah.
good way.